Hello everyone, and welcome to the first review of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7. So it's been a while since Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been on. It's been like a year or so since Season 6 ended, so it's good to be back. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not something I've talked about a lot on my channel. It has come up every so often, but not all that frequently. It's like there was the Lego review I did that happened to have an Agent Coulson minifigure in it. I kind of geeked out over that. And then there was a video I did for the One Marvelous Scene YouTube playlist thing that was going around about a year ago, talking about the connection between Age of Ultron and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But other than that, I haven't really talked about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. much on my channel. But since this is the 7th and final season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I thought that I would go ahead and review each and every episode as it comes out. So on Fridays for the next 12, 13 weeks, however many episodes there are this season, I will be here on Fridays, after the show airs on Wednesdays, to give you guys a review of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So strap in, because we are going to have a lot to talk about over the next several weeks. So, I'm, just right off the bat, I'm going to say spoilers, obviously, because this is a review for the episodes. So, don't be here if you haven't seen the new episodes, because I'm just going to go ahead and get right into spoilers. Of course, there's going to be spoilers for the past 6 seasons of the show as well, because I've been watching this show since the very beginning. I watched the original pilot when it aired on ABC back in 2013, and my family has been watching the show ever since. So it's going to be an end of an era when this show ends. Season 7 is now picking up. The Chronicoms are going back in time to stop S.H.I.E.L.D. from forming, and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. themselves are now going back in time to stop the Chronicoms from stopping S.H.I.E.L.D. from forming. So we are in the 1930s, New York City. The Empire State Building is still being built even. And Coulson is now an LMD, which is interesting considering how things went the last time Coulson was an LMD. Clark Gregg has actually kind of sneakily played a bad guy several times in this show now, which is kind of funny because he played Bad Coulson LMD, then he played Sarge, who had that other name, which I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but that was a bad guy. And now, so it's kind of funny that it's like, oh, Clark Gregg's getting to play a bad guy. It's like, well, no, actually, he sort of kind of got to do that in the past already. And then, of course, there was the framework version of Coulson, which was, kind of Hydra brainwashed there for a little while until we figured out that he actually was not drinking the Kool-Aid, and he was actually on the level more than we thought. So Coulson is back again. It's like, how many times can they kill off Clark Gregg in the MCU? I think this is like the 4th time, I guess, sort of, kind of. I mean, again, if you count his LMD from season 4, then this is maybe the 5th time, something like that. But yeah, so after the Avengers, this is now, but officially speaking, sort of, kind of, this is his official 2nd death and resurrection. Now they keep bringing him back, but I mean, I suppose this isn't really him, because it's a patchwork. It's an imprint of his brain and his memories that are uploaded into this LMD brain. That's this advanced LMD brain that has the Chronicom technology. But in terms of kind of talking philosophically here, this LMD doesn't have a soul, I don't think. So yeah, it's Coulson's memories and everything, but it's not really Coulson. It's like, is he? I think this is going to be something that they'll probably, maybe address throughout the run of this season. But does this new Coulson actually have the capability of feeling love or something? I mean, sure, he cares for his team, but that's all based in the memories of the old Coulson. And now he's LMD Coulson. Like, is this new LMD Coulson going to be able to form new relationships with new people and feel some sort of feelings toward them that aren't the team that he's been used to? So that'll be interesting to see. It's funny that they've actually brought him back as an LMD now, because that was one of the original theories of how they're going to bring back Coulson back in season 1, right when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was first starting. Is he an LMD? Is he a clone? Is he an LMD? What kind of Marvel Comics sci-fi stuff can we use here to explain the fact that he's back? So LMD was at the top of the list for how he could have been back, and so now that they've actually brought him back as an LMD, it's funny, things have kind of come full circle. So yeah, so the agents are in the 1930s New York. It's good to see everyone. The only person we didn't see in this episode was Fitz, and that's interesting. It's like poor Fitzsimmons. It's Yo-Yo has a quip in this episode. It's like, well, it's not like you guys have been separated by space and time before, so it's like they have to have their happily ever after this season, for Pete's sake. I mean, Prime Fitz died even, so it's like now we've got kind of this backup Fitz that we're running with from another timeline. It's like, and then is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. still in the MCU, or are they in a branching timeline? It's like that's one of the funny things about this episode is that Deke kind of gives his own version of how he thinks time travel works with the river theory and branches and all that, which is kind of in stark contrast to what Endgame said time travel and how time travel worked there. So I mean, that's the funny thing, is that now there's two things that are supposed to be connecting, contradicting one another in their time travelness. But I mean, honestly, going off the way Endgame explained it, it kind of would explain how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. could still be canon to the MCU, because they've jumped into different timelines now because of the different things that have been happening. So now it will, and if that's true, then it will remain to be seen if they can get back into the prime original MCU timeline that we've been following with the movies. So, and it would also kind of help explain, Coulson's absence in the movies and stuff, since he hasn't been around in a while. Because the last time he appeared in a movie was actually Captain Marvel, but of course that took place in the 90s. So, yeah. So it's good to see the team. It was like I said, the only person we didn't see was Fitz. We didn't see much of May, but she was there. Obviously, she's still recovering from getting stabbed in the season 6 finale. Enoch was back, and I'm glad that he had his regular face back. Because I love the guy that plays Enoch. He does such a good job of playing Enoch. I would not have wanted the guy that Enoch ended up kind of taking over to be the new Enoch, so to speak. It's like, for that scene, obviously it worked very well, but I'm glad that the regular guy is back, because he's just a hoot. I love watching Enoch. So, surprise guest star, we have Patton Oswalt as the Agent Koenig granddaddy. So he's like he's going to be like all the different Agent Koenig's granddad or whatever, like depending on how history works, or maybe even be their great-grandfather or something like that. So that was fun. It was cool to see him. I'm glad he popped up. And then the big bombshell twist at the very end of the episode was that the person that they're trying to save is, one of the founding members of Hydra. So, and we've known that Hydra was going to play into the season in some way, because of the trailers, with that line from Coulson, in order to save S.H.I.E.L.D., we have to save Hydra. So, obviously that wasn't a surprise. It's like, okay, we're just getting into this right off the bat. Makes sense. Yeah, so, I mean, the fact that, this kid is actually kind of evil, and, he'll turn out to be, and he, obviously, if you're a member of Hydra, you're kind of evil, just by definition, because it's a terrorist organization. So, I mean, he seems like a nice kid, and obviously he hasn't gone on to work with American Hydra yet, but he will eventually. So, what happens between now and then that kind of maybe corrupts him to turn him evil. So, I think the next episode is going to play around with that a little bit, judging by the Next Time On trailer that we got. Yeah, honestly, this episode is kind of, since this is the last season, this is sort of kind of a lot of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. throughout the years thrown into one. Because we have Coulson as an LMD, which of course harkens back to season 4. We've got some time travel shenanigans, which is very season 5. We're dealing with the ramifications of season 6, since that was the last season. And then we're dealing with Hydra stuff, which is very season 1 and 2. And to a degree, also season 3. So, and of course, Daisy's here, and she's an Inhuman, so that's playing on a lot of season 2 stuff. So it's so this final season is kind of taking every aspect of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has dealt with in the past, and it kind of looks like it's wrapping it up into one final season to kind of pay homage to all the things that it's done in the past. So I'm waiting to see Grant Ward. At this point, I'm waiting to see Grant Ward in some capacity. I don't know if they'll get Brett Dalton back. It may just be a flashback where he appears, or we may see him as a kid. They show up in the night. They have to travel to the 90s or something like that, and then they run into Grant Ward as a kid. But considering how big a presence he had on the show for 4 seasons, really, he has to show up somehow for the final season. So I'm expecting him to show up at some point. They may hold that card up until the last episode of the season, but he's going to show up somehow. I guarantee it. There's no way they wouldn't have him on there. They sort of did a lot of paying homage to stuff they'd done in the past with the framework. Like they had Agent Tripp there, and that was so good to see Tripp back. I love that so much. And then, of course, we had a good version of Ward, which was cool. All these computer people running around. So, they've sort of kind of already done that, but I feel like that since this is going to be the last season, that they're going to do some of that stuff again. Bring back some old cast members for little flashback cameos or something like that. That'd be cool. It's like, and what are the odds that we get Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury in here? I don't think they're good. But I don't know. It's a final season. Anything's possible. I think it's even kind of surprising that we managed to get Fury in the couple episodes in season 1 that we got him in when the show was still very closely tied to the MCU before the TV and movie side of Marvel kind of had their little falling out. So I don't know how good the chances are. I think it's maybe possible, slim, but maybe not likely, but possible. It would be great to see Nick Fury pop up. Especially if it's the real Nick Fury and not the Talos Skrull Fury that I guess has actually been running around the last couple movies. So, yeah. So there's not really too much to talk about in this episode since this is the beginning of the season. Things are just getting started. I liked it. I thought it was a good return to form of S.H.I.E.L.D. It felt very Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I loved the title card. The title card coming up with the classic 1930s font and everything. That was cool. I love how they do that. Bear McCreary killing it on the music as per the usual. I'm so happy this show is back, guys. I love this show. I love this show to death. I'm so happy it's back. Season 6 was, I don't want to call it disappointing. It was obviously shorter. I think I enjoyed it just as much as any of the other seasons. It's not on my top season list. I don't know. Season 2 or 3 may be my favorite season of the show. But obviously it's more Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I'm happy to have it back. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it for this review. I've had some stuff get in the way, so I'm recording this much later than I would like to, which means I'm going to be uploading it much later than I would like to. And judging by when this is actually going live, you'll probably know that. But so hopefully in the weeks to come, these reviews can be a little longer. I can get into more detail because I'll have more time to record them. But so obviously a good episode. I can't wait to see more, and I will see you guys in the next review. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.